What is going on, y'all? It's your boy Texas Sinky. We need to take a look real quick at the Orlando Magic. So leave a like, comment, subscribe, because I probably won't forget to remind y'all again, to be honest. The Magic have continued to win games here on a 6-game win streak as I make this video. They play the Clippers tomorrow, so they might even make that a 7-game win streak. We'll see how that ends up going. And they've done this without paolo banchero, which is, I think, probably the most impressive thing. You know, when Paolo went out was right after, he had this 50-point game against the Pacers, which they did end up winning. And he drops 31 the very next game against the Bulls, and they end up losing that game by 3. This team kind of was on the verge, I think, to most people, and definitely to me. I thought they were going to just completely collapse without a guy like Paolo banchero kind of, he has been very much kind of their lead creator in many aspects, many situations, as well as their lead scorer. So taking away that from a team, most teams can't really recover from that. So that's what we're diving into today is how have they managed to survive pretty much. And you can see after banchero went out, they did drop 1, 2, 3, 4 games in a row. None of them really that close. And that's really a symptom of the fact that they were not prepared for it. When you have time to scheme around losing a player like that, like they kind of have over the last couple of weeks, you have more time to kind of implement into your system ways to get around and not recycle players, but use them in ways to combat what you've lost and to kind of cover your losses, right? So you can see already in this first game, Jalen Suggs and Franz Wagner start shooting the ball a lot more. And they weren't terribly inefficient this game, but it's just you need them to both take over that role, essentially. Jalen Suggs being the lead ball handler most of the time now. Anthony Black having 6 assists was also pretty interesting. But if we move forward, they kind of still segmented it into those two players. If we move forward going into their actual wins, so let's go ahead and take a little bit better of a dive into the stats here. These are the Orlando Magic's team stats for the last couple of games. We can see they haven't stood out necessarily super well in any regard offensively. What they do stand out, obviously, is their defense. They allow like right around 100 points per game. They also score right around 100 points per game. So the fact that they're able to do that, they are also able to kind of keep their turnovers down. They've replaced most of that scoring attribution with Franz Wagner. He's been really great the last few games. He has just increased his volume, essentially. He shot the ball pretty effectively this game at 37% from outside the last 6 games as well in their win streak. And that's what we're analyzing here. Scoring 29 a game in that, 6 and 6 as well, giving you a steal and a half. And, that's exactly what you need from him. He's shooting the ball a lot more, 22.3 times. So he's been their main shot taker over this course of time without paolo banchero. Really shown that he can also kind of affect the game by assisting the ball as well, averaging 6 of those. He's a big forward. He can kind of not take Paolo's spot in that he's not as big as him, so he's not going to be able to generate as much rim pressure. But still being 6'10", he does get mismatches on the wing. He is still able to facilitate their offense well and takes tough jump shots, and that's been part of the reason why he's come back around. That three-point shot hitting has also helped as well. Someone you would have thought maybe would step up a little bit is Jalen Suggs. He's actually not been very good over this win streak, which is another thing that kind of stands out to me because him and KCP struggling over this 6-game win streak kind of shows us how deep this Orlando Magic team really is. We have Jalen Suggs shooting just 36% from the field, 23% from 3, averaging about 12, 5, and 4. Doing decently on the defensive end, but, he hasn't really upped his shot taking that much even. He's still only shooting 12 shots a game, 6.5 from 3. And he's someone that you would think, while facilitating a little bit more, he's still only averaging 3.5 assists. He's kind of just been relegated to an off ball role. His shots have not been falling, unfortunately. And while his defense is valuable, it's been certainly something you would like to see come around a lot better. Here we have KCP in his last 6 games. Just another kind of like similar to Jalen Suggs in a lot of ways, other than he doesn't handle the ball as much. So obviously, his assists, are going to be down. But they're shooting very relatively the same percentages, actually, if you take a look. And then Jalen Suggs also averaging 4 turnovers. Not great from someone that you wanted to see kind of improve that aspect of his game as well to fit in with this kind of do it all playmaking mentality where everyone kind of gets a bit of the pie. Um, Man, KCP is playing 31 minutes a game and averaging 8 points, which isn't really the problem. I do think KCP is a guy that you want to average around 10, 11 points. But really the problem is the shooting percentages, obviously, and that's why they picked him up. He's been kind of struggling there over this year in general. And so the point I'm trying to get to with these last 2 guys, I guess, is that the team defense and system has been able to cover up the fact that 2 of the guys that you would really think need to step up and replace what paolo banchero generates aren't really doing that. Um, Someone who I do want to highlight, though, from their team over this stretch is Anthony Black. He still has not been able to find his shot from 3 range. That's really led by this 8 3-point attempt game here. I don't think he needs to be shooting that much, but he has been pretty effective otherwise, been decent from the floor. He's actually not necessarily upped too much, I think, his ability. I think it's just that he found kind of what he needs to do within their system better. He's given more opportunity now. He is scoring the ball a little bit better, but what I do want to highlight has been his assists, and he's kind of helped generate some more offense for them as well, while only averaging 1.5 turnovers. And that's something that they do need, while Jalen Suggs has been struggling with that and Banchero's out. So those are kind of some of the reasons why I think they've been able to continue staying alive. Mostly, namely, is their defense with guys like Tristan Da Silva and John Isaac, Mo Wagner still there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, though. And yeah, shout out to Franz Wagner, shout out Anthony Black. I'll see you next time. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, y'all.